You know what you want to do, but you can't bring yourself to do it. There is a war happening inside your mind. On one side, you have clarity about your path. You see the creative breakthrough waiting for you. You understand what needs to change. On the other side, this invisible force keeps you locked in the same patterns, scrolling instead of creating, doubting instead of doing. This isn't a character flaw. This is cognitive dissonance, the mental tension that erupts when your beliefs crash into your behaviors, when new insights collide with old programming, and it's secretly sabotaging your ability to pursue what you truly want as both an artist and a conscious being. Most people try to force resolution with willpower. They rationalize their resistance. They beat themselves up for knowing better but not doing better. This only increases the tension. What if I told you there is another way? A path that does not require you to fight your own mind, but to understand it so completely that something entirely new can emerge. Here's the truth most people miss. If your insights don't lead to action, you haven't truly seen, listened, or learned anything at all. You've been operating on partial intelligence, collecting concepts while remaining blind to the mechanical scripts running in your life. By mastering what I call the 3 arts of intelligence, seeing, listening, and learning, you illuminate these ancient survival programs and resolve the internal conflict that is keeping you stuck. Here's how cognitive dissonance is blocking you and how each art becomes a pathway to freedom. Your cognitive dissonance isn't random. It's rooted in 4 specific survival scripts your ancestors developed to stay alive. These scripts serve them well in life or death situations, but in your creative life, they are executing automatically, creating internal warfare without your conscious awareness. So, script 1. Threat detection override. So one of the ways that our ancestral scripts are triggered is through focus. So focus is generated when either our automated scripts or predictions are interrupted. So that's how focus is generated. And this focus is used to either detect threats or value. Your brain's automatic threat detection system scans for danger 24/7. This worked when saber-toothed tigers were real threats. Now, it triggers when you think about posting your music online or sharing your philosophical insights. The script runs, tribe rejection equals death. Your modern brain knows sharing my work is essential for building my creative career. The result? You create something beautiful, then let it sit in your draft folder for weeks. While the script executes a protective protocol, another script is authority hierarchy confusion. Now the second script is authority, which is someone or a group of people whom you perceive as more powerful. A script is triggered where you automatically obey or follow. We are wired to follow authority figures for survival. But modern life, your music mentor says focus on technical perfection. Your philosophy teacher says technique is secondary to truth. Social media gurus say post daily. Your intuition says create when inspired. Every authority contradicts another authority. The script can't compute conflicting authorities, so it defaults to paralysis, the safest survival option when unclear on who to follow. Another script is tribal loyalty protocol. You belong to multiple tribes: musicians, philosophers, creators, spiritual seekers. Each tribe has survival-based rules about acceptable behavior. Your musician friends might reject your consciousness interests. Your philosophical communities might dismiss your artistic pursuits. The script demands singular tribal loyalty for survival. It activates internal alarm systems every time you try to integrate your interests. Exactly what you need to do to build an authentic creative voice. And the last script is emotional survival programming. Your survival emotions, fear, shame, anger, execute based on ancient associations. You've learned that growth requires risk, but your emotional survival script treats any uncertainty as mortal danger. You know posting your thoughts online builds an audience, but the script reads visibility is equals to vulnerability, and vulnerability equals to attack, and attack equals to death. The dissonance keeps you small. Here's what you need to understand. These scripts aren't your enemy. They kept your ancestors alive, but they're executing automatically below your conscious awareness, sabotaging your creative evolution. Most people try to override these scripts with positive thinking or willpower. This is like trying to debug a computer program without seeing the code. You need to illuminate the actual mechanisms, just in a practical way, not in all the way to the chemical and stuff. Only then can conscious change emerge. Level 1. The art of seeing, illuminating the mechanical mind. Most people think they are seeing their creative blocks. They are not. They are seeing through the lens of the very scripts that created this creative block. They observe their resistance while the threat detection system is running. They analyze their patterns while authority confusion is still running. They judge their progress while the tribal loyalty protocol still runs. This isn't seeing. This is being seen by mechanical programming. True seeing means observing these scripts themselves, watching your ancient survival mind in operation while not being hijacked by it. Here is what this actually looks like. Next time you feel the tension between knowing and doing, don't try to analyze why. Don't jump into solution mode. Don't judge the resistance. Instead, watch the script execute. Notice the threat detection script scanning. What if people think I'm pretentious for talking about consciousness? Observe the authority confusion script processing. Which expert should I believe about posting frequency? See the tribal loyalty protocol activating. Will my music community accept this philosophical content? Watch the emotional survival programming running. Sharing this feels dangerous. The illumination happens seeing this as mechanical processes, not as truth. Your nervous system recognizes this as just scripts, ancient programs executing automatically. The urgency decreases, the crisis energy dissolves, space opens for conscious choice. I experienced this when I felt paralyzed about integrating my musical and philosophical interests. Instead of trying to figure out what is the right path, I watched the scripts run. Tribal loyalty, demanding I choose one community. Authority confusion, creating analysis paralysis. Threat detection, scanning for rejection. When I saw these things as mechanical programs rather than valid concerns, the path forward became obvious. The tension wasn't giving me information about reality. It was showing me ancient scripts hijacking my present moment intelligence. You haven't truly seen until your observations lead to spontaneous action. Level 2. The art of listening, distinguishing program from intelligence. Most people think they are listening to their inner wisdom. They are actually listening to a mixture of ancient scripts, authority conditioning, and tribal programming, while calling it intuition. This isn't listening. This is being listened by accumulated programming. True listening means distinguishing between mechanical reactions and present moment intelligence. You hear all the voices without being hijacked by survival programming. Here's the practice that changes everything. When dissonance arises, listen to each voice while identifying its source. The threat detection script. Sharing your philosophical insights might get you rejected, by the music community. Illuminate its mechanism. This is ancient brain interpreting social risk as survival threat. The program is designed to keep you safe from tribal exile, but you're not actually in physical danger. The authority confusion script. Successful creators focus on one niche. See its programming. This is downloaded conditioning from business authorities. It worked for some people in specific contexts. It's not universal truth about creativity. It's inherited programming. The tribal loyalty protocol. Real musicians don't talk about consciousness. Recognize its survival function. This script evolved to prevent tribal rejection. But you can honor your musical community while exploring consciousness. The script can't compute this integration. Your present moment intelligence. Integrating my interests creates something unique and valuable. This isn't programming. It's fresh intelligence responding to your actual situation. When you distinguish script from intelligence, you can hear what's actually relevant versus inherited reactions. Level 3. The art of learning. Registering fresh intelligence. Most people think they're learning about creativity and consciousness. They're actually accumulating information while the same ancient scripts keep running their lives. This isn't learning. This is being learned by conceptual programming. True learning means something completely new enters your system. Fresh intelligence that transforms the way you operate, not just what you know. The practice dissolves cognitive dissonance through radical simplicity. Ask yourself, what does this specific moment require right now? Not what your threat detection system thinks it requires. Not what authority confusion programming suggests. Not what tribal loyalty protocols demand. Not what accumulated knowledge recommends. What does this present situation actually need? When I felt overwhelmed by conflicting advice about creative careers, I stopped accumulating strategies. I stopped consulting authorities. I stopped trying to satisfy different tribal expectations. I asked, what does my actual situation require right now? The answer was immediate. Create something valuable. Share it authentically. Engage with people who resonate. Everything else was script-based noise. You respond from fresh intelligence rather than programmed reactions. Something entirely new emerges. Responses that transcend both ancestral programming and conditioned learning. This is where ancient scripts lose their grip. They can't execute when you're operating from immediate intelligence rather than accumulated programming. You haven't truly learned until your understanding generates effortless action. Integration. When intelligence ends the war. Here's what I discovered about ending the ancient war inside your mind. The war continues as long as you mistake mechanical programming for intelligence. When you illuminate survival scripts clearly, distinguish programming from intelligence, and operate from present moment necessity, cognitive dissonance transforms from crisis to information. Your ancient scripts still activate, but you're no longer unconsciously executed by them. You can acknowledge their survival function while making conscious choices for your creative evolution. The threat detection script scans for social danger, but you recognize it as mechanical process, not truth about reality. The authority confusion script processes conflicting advice, but you distinguish inherited conditioning from fresh intelligence. The tribal loyalty protocol monitors for social acceptance, but you understand its primitive function while honoring your integrated interests. The result isn't the absence of tension, it's conscious choice within mechanical activation. Your technical practice serves your consciousness exploration. Your philosophical insights inform your artistic expressions. Your creative work becomes a vehicle for demonstrating integrated intelligence. This isn't theory. Every piece of content I create, every song I develop, every conversation about consciousness, they emerge from seeing scripts as mechanical processes while operating from present moment intelligence. The war inside your mind ends when you stop being unconsciously executed by survival programming and start working with all your intelligence. The three arts aren't techniques to practice. They are how intelligence actually functions when not hijacked by ancient scripts. When you see, listen, and learn with full sanity, action becomes effortless because there's no internal war consuming your energy. Your insights demonstrate themselves through aligned action. Your understanding expresses itself through integrated creativity. Your intelligence manifests as authentic contribution to the world.